What's good, everyone? This is Teray with Hard Targets, open source intel by the people, for the people, news from a multipolar world. I wanted to make a shorter video today. I had been putting out live streams for the past couple of weeks. But as the news comes out, I want to talk more broadly about some of the trends that we're starting to see here in America and the world. And the reason I want to talk about Texas is because I did bring this up a couple of days ago when I was talking about how the United States is using the war in Ukraine to redistribute entire supply chains throughout the world, and how it's positioning itself to benefit from that monumental, chaotic shift. And Texas today, I was reading on Telegram that lawmakers in Texas are passing Senate Bill 147 to prevent Chinese nationals, so people who are Chinese citizens living in the United States, from buying and selling property. Now, obviously, liberals in America are up in arms about this, and there's the usual stop Asian discrimination. But I'm actually in favor of this bill and of the trend that it symbolizes, and I will explain why. So, first of all, let me just get out of the way that I care very little if Chinese grad students are big mad that they can't use the real estate to make passive income. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. But I am in favor of the trend to industrialize the Texas-Mexico region. So not just in the state of Texas, but also Mexico and the American bread belt in general. There's this massive swath of territory that's used not just for food independence for the United States, but also energy. I mean, we're not energy independent, but the trend that I'm seeing is we are making moves to become more energy independent, to become energy exporters, which has some good implications, I think, for the American economy, for the American working class, as well as for the Mexican working class. The subterranean moves that big oil and, in general, big raw material extraction but most notably big oil is making in Texas, is continuing to to set itself up to be at the head of a new global supply chain of oil, of exporting oil to Europe. As long as this Ukraine war goes on and Europe is no longer getting its oil from Russia, and as long as we are pulling out of the Persian Gulf, not pulling out of Syria yet, unfortunately, as much as I would love the US military to stop occupying Syria and stealing their oil. This move to bar Chinese people from buying up land in Texas is a return to the Trump era Native American, not Native American, but keeping American business within America, and of a competition, of a tough competitive edge with China. Whether or not this becomes a military threat remains to be seen. But as of now, I'm in favor of stiff competition, of economic competition with China to industrialize Texas, Mexico, and the bread belt in general. That's why we're seeing legislation like this pushed, is to convert Texas land away from the undeveloped passive income stream of real estate towards a more productive petroleum and liquid natural gas extraction, manufacturing, and distribution. Much more beneficial to the economy and to the working class. So it's the kind of shift that as the American white collar managing elite dies, and urbanites in California are fleeing by the millions to go live in Texas. We're already seeing the forward-thinking trends of the American worker. That's the white collar, retail, insurance, like this service economy and this retail economy. This economy based on real estate is built on smoke and mirrors, where manufacturing and commodities are real things to base the economy on that have long-lasting stability. And obviously, U.S. legislators are slow in realizing that fact, much slower than China has been, a country who's been investing billions of dollars in Mexico to speed up their manufacturing capabilities. As global supply chains collapse, we're seeing countries in Asia, specifically China, Japan, and Korea, shift to a strategy sometimes called nearshoring, sometimes called desourcing, of starting businesses overseas to manufacture products in their entirety, and then selling those products to the region where your factories and businesses are. In the case of Mexico, China speeding up Mexican manufacturing development to make car parts so that Mexico can continue to make cars and then sell those cars to the American consumer. Which, I mean, I'm not going to deny that I am excited for Mexico to continue to industrialize. That is a net benefit for the Mexican working class. But I'd be lying if I said that I'm not envious for the American worker to not be participating in that process, which this shift to start bringing American land and American industry under our own control means that we can start moving in that direction. Because China has known that an industrialized Mexico is an economic powerhouse, which makes it an economic threat to the entrenched ruling class of the United States. But it's also the best line of defense that America has against complete economic shutdown as global supply chains collapse, as these countries all over the world are experiencing disastrous inflation. Having something real to base your economy on keeps you afloat during the worst of times. And we are only just starting to catch up to that knowledge, but better late than never. This is ultimately why I've been saying we should federate with Mexico and have federated states of America to incorporate Mexico into the American Federation, because that industrial unity is what really leads countries through turbulence and into a future that looks promising, that looks futuristic, and not this future of decay and despair that we're seeing after all of these economic bubbles in real estate and finance are starting to burst. In terms of even broader economic outlooks, so Mexico's economy didn't fully industrialize till the 90s, whereas the US, so like 50 years after the full industrialization of the United States, post-World War II, meaning our baby boom from 1946 to 1964, when you see industrialization, you see an increase in life expectancy, and then of course you see an increase in your population. That sort of large bubble of working Mexican people who now have industrial skills, that was produced in the 90s. meaning that with baby boomers in America now most of the way retired and no generation large enough to replace them, Mexico isn't just a frontier of economic expansion, it's literally the IV drip of young working class people keeping the American South from population collapse. So I see this trend as literally keeping the North American continent from apocalypse. And there's also other benefits too in terms of how it affects economies overall. Like liquid natural gas is also a product of that is ammonia, which is a major component in fertilizer. So increasing the foundation of food security is necessary to prevent declines in food, which means a decline in population, which means a decline in industrialization, which means a decline in life expectancy, and creates this vicious spiral. Securing these foundations of society, of being able to reproduce society, is a net benefit and a positive spiral, a positive in the moral sense, but also in the physical sense, a positive feedback loop that keeps the population and the working class population more in control of their lives. So yeah, maybe you should be like one of the many urbanites of California, realizing that liberalism and finance capital are apocalyptic hellscapes, and you should move to Texas. Wouldn't be such a bad idea. But yeah, tell me what you think about this Senate Bill 147 to bar Chinese people from buying up American real estate. Are you in favor of it like I am? Maybe I don't have the full story. Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. I want to start putting out more. I mean, this video has already gone on 12 minutes, but I want to start making shorter videos to talk about general trends that the news is alerting me to, and make this more conversational. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.